I never knew silence could feel heavier than a scream, but the night I found out my wife had been cheating on me, I didn't explode, I didn't break anything, I didn't even raise my voice. I just sat there with her unlocked phone in my hand, staring at messages that slowly hollowed out pieces of me I didn't even know existed. I'm 27, from Ohio, married for 2 years, loyal to a fault, the type of man who turns away from temptation even when it walks straight up to him at work. Being a retail manager means you're surrounded by people, opportunities, flirtations that come disguised as harmless compliments. But I never entertained any of them, not once, because I believed love meant choosing someone every day, even when it isn't easy. But that night, while she slept peacefully beside me on the couch, her phone buzzed. And for the first time in my life, something inside me told me to look. Maybe intuition, maybe fate, maybe the universe whispering, "It's time you know." The notification preview didn't look like a wrong number. It looked intimate. It looked intentional. It looked like the kind of message you don't send someone's wife unless you've crossed every line there is. My hand shook before I even picked up the phone. I don't know if it was fear or instinct, but something deep inside me already knew I wasn't going to like what I found. When I opened her messages, it felt like diving into an ocean with no bottom. Every scroll revealed something worse, something sharper, something that made my stomach twist so violently I had to remind myself to breathe. Voice notes, pictures, plans to meet, compliments she never gave me, energy she never showed me, laughter I hadn't heard from her in months. And the more I read, the more I realized I'd been living with a stranger who mastered the art of pretending. My heart hammered so hard it hurt. My mouth went dry. The room felt smaller, tighter, like the truth itself was closing in around me. But even then, in the middle of that crushing moment, my first thought wasn't anger. It was self-blame. What did I do wrong? Was I not enough? Did working extra shifts make me distant? Did providing for us make me boring? That's what loyalty does to you. It turns betrayal inward. It makes you think you somehow deserved the knife. I put her phone down gently, like it was something fragile, even though it had just shattered my entire world. I walked to the bathroom, locked the door, and stared at myself in the mirror. The reflection looking back at me didn't feel like me anymore. My eyes looked empty, my face pale, my hands trembling like I'd been punched in the chest. I whispered to myself, so quietly it barely counted as sound, "I stayed faithful for this?" I didn't sleep that night. I didn't confront her. I didn't wake her up. Real life isn't a dramatic movie scene where you yell and throw things. Real heartbreak is quiet. It's numb. It's the kind of pain that sits on your lungs like a bag of concrete and makes every breath feel borrowed. The next morning, I went to work like nothing happened. I smiled at customers, answered questions, handled inventory, all while feeling like something inside me was dying slowly. And because irony loves company, that day 3 different women flirted with me. Normally, I'd ignore it without a second thought, but this time every compliment hit differently. Not in a good way, but in a bitter, twisted, you stayed loyal for what kind of way. A small, ugly part of me wondered if I should cheat back, if I should taste the thrill she threw away our marriage for. But every time I got even close to imagining it, something inside me pulled back. I didn't want to become her. I didn't want revenge that made me lose myself. That was the moment something changed. I realized cheating back wouldn't heal me. It would poison me. The real revenge wasn't about hurting her. It was about choosing myself, quietly, strategically, intentionally. I started gathering everything I needed, screenshots, backups, copies of her messages stored somewhere safe. Not to publicly humiliate her, but because divorce, separation, property, income, those things get messy fast, and I wasn't about to let her betrayal ruin the rest of my life. For 2 weeks, I acted normal. I hugged her, laughed with her, asked about her day, cooked dinner, slept beside her, all while packing small things she wouldn't notice missing and moving half my savings to a new account she didn't know about. At night, she'd roll over to the far side of the bed, phone clutched to her chest like a lifeline.
Nights she'd stay up late, talking to a friend. Some nights she'd fall asleep on the couch. Every lie she told felt rehearsed now. I didn't confront her. Not yet. I wanted to leave on my terms. Not in anger, not in chaos, but in complete emotional control. One quiet Sunday morning, the moment finally came. She walked into the kitchen, wearing one of my shirts, the same one she used to say made her feel safe. I was sitting at the table, a folder in front of me filled with everything I had found. She kissed my cheek like nothing was wrong and said, "Morning, babe." Her voice, soft, casual, fake. I didn't say a word. I just slid the folder toward her. She frowned, confused, opened it, and her entire world collapsed in front of me. Her face drained of color, her hands shook, the mug slipped from her grip and shattered on the floor. She couldn't even form a full sentence. Just broken pieces of excuses. Where did you, how did you, why would you? Then the sobbing started. Loud, dramatic, desperate, the kind of crying someone does when they're not sorry you're hurt, they're sorry they got caught. She fell to her knees, grabbing my arm, begging, pleading, repeating the same scripted lines cheaters always do. It didn't mean anything. It was a mistake. She was lonely. She was confused. She didn't know why she did it. She still loved me. I let her talk. I let her drown in her own excuses. And when she finally ran out of breath, I looked at her calmly and said, "I loved you. You didn't love me." She broke again, harder this time. I stood up, walked to the bedroom, grabbed the packed bag I'd hidden behind the closet, and headed for the door, while she crawled after me, grabbing at my clothes, sobbing, shaking, asking, "Where are you going? Can we talk? We can fix this, please." My voice was steady when I answered, "Away. And I'm not coming back." Then I left. No yelling. No slamming doors. No dramatic goodbye. Just a clean, silent exit. The kind that hits harder than any scream ever could. The aftermath was its own kind of poetic justice. For the first week, she blew up my phone with apologies. The second week, her affair partner blocked her. He never wanted a relationship, just the thrill. The third week, mutual friends found out and distanced themselves. The fourth week, her own family reached out to apologize to me. The fifth week, she showed up at my job crying until security escorted her out. By week 6, her text changed from begging to bargaining to blaming herself to finally admitting she ruined everything. But by week 8, I felt peace. For the first time in years. I focused on myself, working out, eating better, reconnecting with people, leveling up at work, healing emotionally, rebuilding my confidence from the ground up. I didn't try to replace her. I didn't rush into anything new. I just rebuilt myself, slowly, patiently, powerfully. Months later, I ran into her at the grocery store. She looked smaller, somehow. Dimmer? Like guilt had been eating her from the inside. She approached me, slowly, like she wasn't sure she had the right to even say my name. She whispered, "You look happy." And I replied, with the calmest voice I ever had, "I am." She nodded. And I could see it in her eyes. The regret, the realization, the pain of knowing the man who loved her endlessly was now someone she would never get back. That was the revenge. Not cheating back, not screaming, not exposing her. Just becoming the version of myself she was never worthy of, and letting her live with the weight of losing me. Betrayal doesn't end you. It transforms you. And sometimes, the greatest revenge is simply walking away and becoming someone they'll spend the rest of their life wishing they hadn't destroyed.